My chosen one, pause for a moment and breathe this in, because what I am about to reveal is not ordinary, and it is not random. On March 19th, Archangel Michael is saying, this person needs your help ASAP. And you should help because there is a special reason tied directly to your future blessings. This is not a suggestion. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. There is someone in your life right now, someone you may have been thinking about recently, a name that crossed your mind without warning, a face that appeared in your memory at the most unexpected hour. You tried to ignore it. You told yourself, maybe it's nothing. But heaven does not move in nothing. When the Spirit repeats a thought, it is not repetition. It is revelation. March 19th carries a spiritual urgency. It is a divine checkpoint, a day marked in the unseen realm. And on this day, a decision you make will echo into your future. Listen carefully. The person who needs your help may not look desperate. They may even seem strong on the outside. But behind their silence, they are fighting a battle they have not told anyone about. And you, yes you, were chosen to be part of their rescue. Why you? Because your heart carries something rare: discernment, compassion, obedience. Archangel Michael does not whisper instructions to everyone. He speaks to those who are spiritually awake. And you are awake. You might be wondering, how can my small help change anything? But what you call small, heaven calls strategic. A message, a phone call, a visit, a financial seed, a word of encouragement, a simple act of kindness. These are not small in the spiritual realm. They are keys. And one of these keys is about to unlock a door that has been closed over your own life. Here is the mystery: your future blessing is tied to someone else's current crisis. Read that again in your spirit. There is a divine exchange about to happen. When you step forward to lift them, something shifts over you. It is written in the law of heaven. What you release in obedience returns multiplied in favor. But timing matters. March 19th is not random. It is a window. And windows do not stay open forever. The enemy hopes you will hesitate. He hopes you will doubt the nudge. He hopes you will scroll past this message and say, if it's important, God will handle it without me. But what if God decided to handle it through you? This is how destiny works. It rarely announces itself loudly. It comes disguised as responsibility, as inconvenience, as interruption. And yet, inside that interruption is acceleration. Archangel Michael stands as a warrior, but also as a protector of divine assignments. And right now, he is signaling urgency. Not panic. Urgency. There is a difference. And it comes from fear. Urgency comes from purpose. You were not shown this message by accident. Some of you already know who this person is. The moment you heard these words, their image flashed in your mind. That is confirmation. You not overthink it. Heaven rarely shouts. It nudges. And this nudge is heavy with meaning. Here is something else you must understand. The help you give will not only rescue them, it will reveal you. It will reveal your character to the spiritual realm. There are blessings that cannot be released until your heart is tested. This is the test. Will you respond quickly? Will you move without applause? Will you obey without full explanation? Because the special reason tied to your future blessings is bigger than money, bigger than opportunity, bigger than promotion. It is alignment with divine flow. When you help this person, chains break, not only around them, but around you. Delays that have followed you will begin to dissolve. Prayers you thought were unanswered will begin to shift. Doors that seemed locked will loosen. All because you chose compassion over convenience. And let me tell you something deeper. The person who needs your help may one day stand in a position that affects your destiny. You are sowing into ground you cannot yet see, but heaven sees it clearly. March 19th is a marker, a spiritual intersection. On one side is hesitation, and the other side is acceleration. Choose wisely, because when Archangel Michael says, ASAP, it is not about pressure, it is about protection. Something is trying to break in their life. Your obedience becomes a shield. You are not just helping a person, you are participating in a divine strategy. And when this unfolds, when you see the blessing arrive in your own life, you will remember this moment. You will remember that heaven warned you in advance. So prepare your heart. The call is coming. The message will feel clear. The opportunity to help will present itself sooner than you expect. And when it does, move, because your future is quietly waiting on your obedience. Beloved soul, something is shifting even as you listen to this. The message about March 19th was not just information, it was activation. The moment you received it, the spiritual atmosphere around you began to rearrange. Because when Archangel Michael releases a warning, it is never empty. It carries movement. You may have tried to brush it aside after hearing it. You may have told yourself, I will think about it later. But notice how it keeps returning to your thoughts. That is not anxiety. That is alignment knocking at your door. The person who needs your help is closer than you think. This is not a stranger from a distant land. This is someone connected to your circle, your environment, your daily rhythm. And here is the deeper truth. Their struggle has reached a tipping point. What was manageable yesterday is overwhelming today. And heaven chose you as the interruption to their breaking point. There is a reason your spirit is sensitive. There is a reason you feel things deeply. Many times you thought it was a burden. You wondered why you could not simply ignore what others ignore. But that sensitivity is not weakness. It is assignment. Archangel Michael often works through those who can feel the unseen tension in a room. Right now, there is unseen tension around this person. They are standing at the edge of making a decision that could alter their path in the wrong direction. Your involvement is not random kindness. It is divine prevention. Think about that carefully. Your small act of help may prevent a long season of regret for them. And because heaven operates in cycles, what you prevent for them, God prevents for you. There are blessings hovering over your future that require proof of stewardship. Not stewardship of money alone, but stewardship of responsibility. Can you be trusted with someone else's vulnerability? Can you be trusted with influence? Can you be trusted with timing? March 19th is becoming a spiritual test of readiness. And here is what most people miss. When you delay obedience, you delay your own reward. Not because God is punishing you, but because divine flow requires movement. Rivers do not bless stagnant ground. They bless what is connected. If this message is stirring something in you, that is confirmation. Do not silence it. Instead, lean into it. Also understand this. Helping them does not mean rescuing them completely. You are not their savior. You are their signal. Archangel Michael stands as protector and warrior, but he often sends human hands ahead of divine breakthroughs. You may simply be the reminder that they are not alone. There is power in showing up. Sometimes the miracle is not dramatic. Sometimes the miracle is presence. And I need to say this clearly. Do not wait for perfect conditions. The mind will try to calculate. It will say, what if they misunderstand? What if it is awkward? What if I am wrong? But obedience rarely feels comfortable at first. It feels necessary. If this word is resonating with you, do not keep it to yourself. Share this message with someone who needs spiritual clarity right now. Like this video so that it reaches more souls who are standing at their own March 19th moment. Comment below if you already sense who this person might be. When you engage, you are not just supporting a channel, you are amplifying a divine alert. Subscribe and become part of this growing movement where messages from Archangel Michael are spreading without restriction. And if your spirit feels connected deeply, consider joining the membership to stand with this mission consistently. Because what is happening here is not ordinary content. It is spiritual preparation. There is something else you must understand before we go deeper. The enemy fears unity. He fears timely intervention. He fears when one person steps in to stop another from falling. That is why distractions will try to pull you away in the coming hours. You may suddenly feel busy. You may feel tired. You may feel uncertain. Notice the resistance. Resistance reveals importance. And here is what you will want to pay attention to next, because what unfolds after your obedience may surprise you in ways you did not expect. The chain reaction tied to this act of help is bigger than you imagine. What seems like a simple decision now is about to connect to doors you have prayed about for years. Hold that in your spirit as we move forward, because the next layer of this revelation will make everything even clearer. Faithful heart, lean in closely because what is being unveiled now carries weight. The urgency surrounding March 19th is not only about helping someone in need. It is about a spiritual exchange that has already been written in your future. Archangel Michael is not simply alerting you to a problem. He is positioning you for promotion through obedience. There are moments in life that look ordinary on the surface but are heavily guarded in the unseen realm. March 19th is one of those moments. While others may treat it like any other date on the calendar, heaven has circled it. This is a hinge point, a turning of spiritual gears, and the person who needs your help is standing at the center of it. What you must understand is this. Their struggle and your breakthrough are connected by a single thread, your willingness to act. You have been praying for clarity about your own future. You have asked for acceleration, for open doors, for confirmation that you are on the right path. And yet the answer did not come as a loud announcement. It came disguised as someone else's need. This is how divine systems operate. The kingdom of God flows through generosity, courage, and timely action. When you step forward to lift someone else, heaven registers your movement as readiness. Readiness attracts responsibility. Responsibility attracts reward. But here is the deeper layer. The person who needs your help may not even realize the spiritual weight of this moment. They may think they are simply going through a rough season. They may believe their stress is temporary and manageable. But in the unseen realm, lines are being drawn, and your involvement becomes a shield that prevents long-term damage. Archangel Michael stands as a defender in times of spiritual warfare. When he says someone needs your help urgently, it means the battle is real. Not dramatic, not theatrical, but real. And heaven has selected you as reinforcement. Do not underestimate that honor. You were not chosen because you are perfect. You were chosen because you are available. That is what makes you dangerous to the enemy and valuable to the divine plan. Availability opens doors that talent alone cannot. There is something powerful about responding quickly. Speed and obedience creates spiritual momentum. And momentum breaks cycles. Some of you have been stuck in repeating patterns, delays, disappointments, near breakthroughs that never fully manifest. What if I told you that your immediate response on March 19th is the key that snaps that cycle? Because when you interrupt someone else's crisis with compassion, heaven interrupts your stagnation with favor. Picture this carefully. A door in your future that has felt sealed. You have knocked. You have prayed. You have waited. But the door remained closed. Not because you were denied, but because the timing was incomplete. The final piece of alignment was missing. A piece is this act of help. Once you move, the alignment completes, and what seemed delayed will begin to unfold with surprising speed. You may not see the connection instantly, but weeks from now, months from now, when blessings begin to surface in unexpected ways, you will trace it back to this decision. You will remember that you chose to show up. The spiritual realm rewards faith in action, not faith in theory. Let your heart settle into that truth. And here is another revelation. Sometimes the person who needs your help today becomes the voice that speaks on your behalf tomorrow. Sometimes they become the bridge to an opportunity you did not even know existed. Sometimes they carry insight, connection, or influence that will directly impact your journey later. Heaven never wastes obedience. That is why this message feels intense. It is not pressure, it is preparation. Before this moment passes, seal it with intention. Declare in your spirit that you will not ignore divine nudges. Declare that when Archangel Michael signals urgency, you respond with courage. If this message is aligning deeply within you, participate in this act of faith right now. Type "I will obey" without delay in the comments if this confirmation has touched your spirit. Blessing code 319 is now activated over those who choose immediate obedience. And as this revelation settles in your heart, understand something powerful. When you support the spreading of messages like this, you are not just engaging with content. You are extending a lifeline to souls who are standing at their own critical crossroads. The word declares that when you sow beside still waters, your harvest will not fail. This is not about supporting a platform. It is about fueling a mission that carries light into hidden places. When you release a super thanks, join as a member, or send a seed through PayPal using the link in the description, you are placing oil in the lamp that keeps this fire burning. Heaven sees every seed as a prophetic act. The same way your obedience on March 19th unlocks your future, your giving unlocks reach, clarity, and transformation in others. God says, as you water others, you yourself will be watered. Let this be your moment of divine participation. Move with boldness. Activate your support. Stand with this mission and watch how the open heavens respond to your faith in action. Chosen vessel, now we step into the layer most people never see. After obedience comes exposure. Not exposure in a negative sense, but revelation. When you move to help this person on March 19th, something hidden will begin to surface. Archangel Michael is not only guiding you to assist them, he is guiding you into clarity about your own environment. There are truths around you that have been partially concealed, not because you were meant to be deceived forever, but because the timing for revelation had not yet matured. Your obedience acts as a trigger. When you step forward to help, the spiritual atmosphere shifts, and hidden motives, hidden intentions, and hidden dynamics begin to reveal themselves. You may notice subtle changes. Conversations may take on a different tone. Certain people may react unexpectedly to your involvement. Pay attention. Reactions reveal alignment. The person who needs your help is not just facing personal struggle. They are entangled in a situation influenced by others. Some of those influences are positive, some are not. And as you step in with compassion, Light begins to shine into corners that were previously dim. Do not be alarmed if you see things more clearly than before. Clarity is protection. Archangel Michael operates with precision. He does not send you into a situation blindly. He equips you with discernment as you move. You will begin to sense who genuinely desires resolution and who thrives in confusion. This awareness is part of your blessing. Because here is what many fail to understand. Future blessings require future wisdom. If God is preparing to elevate you, He must first sharpen your perception. Elevation without discernment leads to downfall, but elevation with discernment leads to dominion. March 19th becomes the classroom where you learn through action. As you help this person, you may uncover patterns. Perhaps you will realize that they have been manipulated emotionally. Perhaps you will notice that their silence has been misunderstood. Perhaps you will discover that a simple misunderstanding has grown into unnecessary division. Your role is not to control outcomes. Your role is to introduce peace and clarity. And when peace enters a chaotic space, everything unsettled begins to surface. This is where courage matters. Because when truth emerges, not everyone will celebrate it. Some people prefer darkness because it hides accountability. When light appears, discomfort follows. If you encounter resistance after stepping in to help, do not retreat. Resistance confirms that something important is being disrupted. You are disrupting confusion. You are disrupting isolation. You are disrupting a cycle that could have caused long-term damage. And in doing so, you are proving your readiness for greater responsibility. Here is another dimension to this moment that you must not ignore. As you extend help outward, healing begins inward. You may notice that old wounds within you feel lighter. Situations from your past that once triggered pain may lose their intensity. This is not coincidence. Compassion is therapeutic. When you help someone else navigate difficulty, you unknowingly release yourself from emotional residue. Heaven designed generosity to be reciprocal. The more you pour, the more you are cleansed. And suddenly, the blessings tied to your future begin to feel closer, more tangible. Not because they were far away, but because your obedience cleared internal barriers that were slowing their arrival. Archangel Michael is not only concerned with what you receive. He is concerned with who you become. This moment is shaping you, strengthening you, refining your spiritual instincts. There may also be a conversation that takes place after you offer your help. A conversation that reveals information you did not previously know. Listen more than you speak. Sometimes revelation hides in quiet details. A single sentence could confirm what heaven has been preparing you for next. You are being trained in discernment and compassion simultaneously. This combination is powerful. As days unfold after March 19th, you will likely sense momentum building in your own life. Small confirmations, unexpected encouragement, subtle favor in places that once felt resistant. These are signs that alignment has begun. Do not dismiss them as luck. They are evidence. You responded when called. You moved when prompted. And because of that, doors that were quietly waiting for the correct spiritual frequency are beginning to unlock. Remember this. Obedience does not always produce instant fireworks. Sometimes it produces steady, undeniable progress. And steady progress builds lasting success. Continue walking in awareness. Continue listening closely. Continue acting with courage. Because what unfolds next will test not only your compassion, but your consistency. And consistency is the bridge between calling and fulfillment. Anointed listener, what happens after clarity is commitment. And this is where many people slowly fade away from their assignment. The excitement of revelation begins to settle, and routine tries to reclaim control. But understand this deeply. March 19th was never meant to be a one-day emotional response. It was the ignition of a pattern. Archangel Michael does not activate you for a single moment. He activates you for a mindset shift. The person you helped, or are about to help, will not just need one gesture. They will need steady presence, not dependency, not rescue, but reinforcement. And your consistency in the season is directly tied to the durability of your future blessings. Here is something most people overlook. Anyone can act once when emotion is high, but only the spiritually disciplined remain steady when feelings fluctuate. Heaven watches for stability, because the blessings being prepared for you require emotional maturity. There are doors ahead that will place you in positions of influence. Influence over decisions, influence over resources, influence over people who themselves carry responsibility. If you cannot remain consistent in a quiet act of support now, how will you remain steady when greater weight is placed on you later? This is not pressure. It is preparation. As the days move forward after March 19th, you may notice subtle fatigue. Thoughts may whisper, "You've done enough," or "This is not your problem anymore." But discern the difference between healthy boundaries and spiritual withdrawal. You are not called to carry their life. You are called to strengthen your season. Archangel Michael is showing you how to stand in the gap without losing yourself. That balance is sacred. There will be moments when your presence alone shifts their energy. A simple check-in message, a brief conversation, a reminder that they are seen. These acts may feel ordinary, but they carry spiritual voltage, because isolation weakens people more than difficulty does. And as you remain consistent, something remarkable begins to happen. Trust forms, and trust opens deeper conversations. You may begin to understand the root of their struggle in ways you could not see at first. What seemed like surface stress may actually be fear of failure. What appeared as frustration may be hidden insecurity. What looked like stubbornness may be silent exhaustion. Consistency uncovers layers. At the same time, your own internal world is strengthening. Discipline and compassion builds discipline in other areas of your life. You may notice that you handle your own challenges with more calm. You may react less impulsively. You may think more clearly before making decisions. This is growth in motion. Future blessings are not simply rewards. They are responsibilities. And responsibility requires steadiness. March 19th was the doorway, but what follows is the hallway. And hallways require walking, not sprinting. There is also something else quietly unfolding. As you remain consistent, observers take notice. Not everyone will say it out loud, but your reliability will become visible. Opportunities often come through observation, not advertisement. Someone may see your character in action and remember it later when a door needs a trustworthy person. Heaven uses witnesses. Archangel Michael is refining your reputation in unseen ways. Not for applause, but for alignment. Reputation built through silent integrity is stronger than reputation built through noise. However, consistency will be tested. There may be a moment when the person you helped does not respond with gratitude. They may misunderstand you. They may pull away temporarily. Do not let temporary reactions dismantle your assignment. Remember, you are acting in obedience, not for validation. When your motive remains pure, your reward remains secure. This season is teaching you to give without attaching your identity to the outcome. That freedom is powerful. It protects your peace. And then, at the right time, you will begin to notice shifts in your own path. An unexpected invitation. a conversation that leads to opportunity, a resolution in an area that felt blocked. The connection will not always be obvious, but in your spirit you will know. You will know that your consistency activated continuity. The blessings tied to your future are not random gifts falling from the sky. They are strategic releases aligned with your demonstrated readiness. Stay steady. Stay observant. Stay compassionate. Because the next phase will reveal how your quiet consistency transforms into visible acceleration. And when that acceleration begins, you will realize that nothing about March 19th was small. Steadfast warrior, now we enter the phase where movement becomes visible. What began as a quiet nudge is about to produce tangible shifts. This is the stage where obedience starts speaking back to you through results. Archangel Michael never calls you into action without preparing evidence that your action mattered. After your consistent support, something in the spiritual atmosphere begins to rearrange. It may not happen with thunder or dramatic signs, but you will sense it. Conversations that once felt heavy will begin to feel lighter. Situations that seemed locked will show cracks of possibility. The person you helped may display new strength, new clarity, even new courage. Do not overlook these small improvements. They are confirmation. Acceleration rarely begins as a sudden explosion. It begins as friction turning into flow. And flow is what you are entering now. There is a reason heaven ties your future blessings to someone else's breakthrough. It teaches you that elevation is never isolated. When you rise, others rise. When you strengthen someone, your own foundation strengthens. This interconnected design is intentional. It prevents pride and cultivates gratitude. As the days unfold, you may notice that your own opportunities start to surface more naturally. An idea that once seemed distant becomes practical. A plan you hesitated to pursue now feels possible. A door that was silent may suddenly respond. This is not coincidence. This is momentum responding to obedience. Archangel Michael operates within divine timing, and your movement activated alignment. What once felt delayed was not denied. It was waiting for synchronization. March 19th synchronized your action with your promise. However, the acceleration also requires awareness. When things begin to move forward, distractions increase. New responsibilities may compete for your focus. Old habits may try to resurface. Guard your clarity. The same discernment that guided you to help someone must now guide you to protect your progress. Remember how resistance appeared before you acted. Now a different kind of resistance may appear, the resistance of comfort. When progress starts, it is tempting to relax prematurely. But this is not the time to drift. It is the time to remain disciplined. You are entering a season where your decisions carry greater influence. The person you helped may also begin expressing gratitude or even transformation. They might tell you that your presence stopped them from making a mistake. They might admit that your timing was critical. Listen to these moments carefully. They are not just compliments. They are confirmations that you were placed exactly where you needed to be. And here is something powerful. Your story is being written through these actions. One day, when you stand in a greater position, you will look back and realize that your credibility was built in quiet acts like this. If this message is resonating with you, engage with it actively. Like this video so it can reach someone who is standing at their own moment of decision. Share it with someone who needs courage to act. Comment below if you have already seen signs of acceleration after choosing obedience. Subscribe to stay connected to these revelations as they unfold. And if your spirit feels deeply aligned with this mission, step into membership and stand consistently with this growing community. Your engagement is not casual. It expands the reach of messages that shift destinies. There is a reason you are here, listening this far. You are not passive. You are participatory. Heaven responds to participation. Now, let us speak about protection. As acceleration begins, protection becomes essential. Archangel Michael is not only a messenger, he is a guardian. When blessings approach, spiritual warfare can intensify. Not to defeat you, but to test your focus. You may experience minor misunderstandings or unexpected obstacles. Do not interpret them as setbacks. They are reminders to remain grounded. Every elevated path has moments of resistance. What matters is your reaction. Respond with calm. Respond with clarity. Respond with faith. Because the same obedience that unlocked acceleration will sustain it. You are no longer in the waiting phase. You are in the movement phase. And movement demands attention. The next layer of this journey will reveal how your obedience begins influencing not just one person, but multiple areas of your life. Keep listening carefully, because what unfolds next will show you how this single act on March 19th begins expanding beyond what you initially imagined. Courageous heart, now you begin to see the ripple effect. What started as one act of obedience is no longer contained to one person or one situation. It is expanding. This is how divine strategy works. Archangel Michael initiates a single instruction, but the outcome multiplies beyond your expectation. The person you helped is stabilizing. Your emotional atmosphere is shifting. Decisions that once seemed rushed are now being reconsidered. And here is the powerful part. You are not forcing any of it. Your presence simply introduced light, and light naturally changes direction. But something else is happening at the same time. Your name is being spoken in rooms you have not entered. Your reliability is being noticed by individuals who value consistency. Your spiritual sensitivity is sharpening. This is expansion without noise. There may be a conversation approaching that will surprise you. Someone may approach you for advice. Someone may open up unexpectedly. This is not random. When you demonstrate wisdom in one scenario, heaven entrusts you with influence in another. Influence flows toward those who handle it carefully. And you have handled this carefully. Archangel Michael is not only pleased with the act of help itself. He is observing the posture of your heart. Did you act for recognition, or did you act from conviction? Did you remain steady when gratitude was delayed? Did you protect confidentiality when sensitive details were shared? These quiet decisions shape your spiritual authority. Because make no mistake, authority is growing around you. Not loud authority, not controlling authority, but respected authority. The kind that people trust instinctively. The kind that carries weight without demanding attention. And this is directly tied to your future blessings. There are opportunities forming that require someone who can navigate complexity without panic. Someone who can hold information responsibly. Someone who can step into tension and remain calm. The experience of helping this person is training you for environments that will require these exact skills. Think about that carefully. You believe you were simply assisting someone in need. But in reality, you were being rehearsed for leadership. Leadership is not about position. It is about presence. And your presence is becoming stronger. You may also notice that your intuition has heightened. You sense when something feels off. You discern when timing is wrong. You feel guided when decisions approach. The sharpening is not imagination. It is spiritual refinement. Archangel Michael operates in realms of strategy and protection. When he activates someone, he strengthens their awareness. You are becoming more alert, not anxious. More perceptive, not paranoid. That difference is important. At the same time, humility must remain your anchor. Expansion without humility becomes pride, but expansion with humility becomes legacy. Continue to serve quietly. Continue to observe carefully. Continue to respond thoughtfully. There will be a moment soon when the connection between your obedience and your own breakthrough becomes undeniable. A door may open that directly answers a long-standing prayer. A conversation may take place that positions you unexpectedly. An invitation may arrive that feels aligned beyond coincidence. When it happens, do not be shocked. You were prepared for it. And here is something even deeper. This ripple effect will not stop with you. The person you helped may one day help someone else because of the stability you offered them. The cycle of obedience multiplies. Blessings do not move in straight lines. They move in waves. You are in the center of one of those waves right now. Guard your mindset. Stay grounded in gratitude. When opportunities increase, subdue expectations. But you are not stepping into this alone. The same guidance that led you on March 19th remains active. Remember how uncertain you felt at first. Remember how you questioned whether it was truly necessary. Look at what has unfolded since. That initial hesitation has transformed into confidence. That quiet nudge has become visible momentum. And this is only the beginning. Because the next stage will test not your compassion, not your consistency, but your courage to step into visibility. The blessings approaching you will require boldness. And boldness is what we must now talk about. Fearless one, now we arrive at the threshold of boldness. Compassion activated you. Consistency stabilized you. Expansion strengthened you. But boldness will elevate you. Archangel Michael is not only a guardian of obedience, he is a commander of courage. And courage is now required. Up until this point, much of what has happened unfolded quietly. Private conversations, subtle shifts, internal growth. But the blessings approaching you will not remain hidden. They will require visibility. And visibility demands confidence. This is where many retreat. When opportunities begin to surface, doubt often whispers, "Are you truly ready?" When recognition increases, insecurity tries to resurface old fears. But understand this clearly. If heaven positioned you through obedience, heaven also prepared you for exposure. The person you helped was not the final destination. They were the doorway. Through them, your character was refined. Through them, your discernment sharpened. Through them, your spiritual authority matured. Now the stage expands. You may soon face a decision that requires you to speak up publicly. To take initiative. A step forward instead of waiting to be invited. This is the boldness phase. And boldness is not arrogance. Boldness is obedience without apology. Archangel Michael stands in imagery as a warrior not because he is loud, but because he is unwavering. He moves with certainty. That same certainty is being cultivated within you. There may be a project you have delayed starting, a proposal you hesitated to present, a leadership role you felt unqualified to accept. The ripple effect from March 19th has been preparing you to say yes. And when you say yes, acceleration increases. But hear this carefully. Boldness will also attract attention. Not all attention will be supportive. Some will question you. Some will misunderstand your motives. Some may even attempt to minimize your growth. This is normal. Visibility exposes you to opinions. But do not confuse noise with opposition from heaven. You are not being elevated for approval. You are being elevated for impact. Remember how your obedience helped someone else avoid a wrong turn. In the same way, your boldness will guide others toward clarity. People are watching your courage more than you realize. When you step forward confidently, you silently give others permission to rise. And here is the sacred connection. Your future blessings are not only material or positional. They are influential. Influence requires presence. Presence requires boldness. There is a moment approaching where you will feel the internal signal. A knowing. A push. An opportunity that feels aligned yet slightly intimidating. That is your confirmation. Step into it. Do not wait for perfect comfort. Confidence grows through action. Archangel Michael has been preparing you steadily. From compassion to consistency to expansion, each layer built the foundation for this moment. You are no longer reacting to instructions. You are moving with vision. And when you move with vision, divine favor aligns faster. There is also something prophetic about this stage. The same courage you demonstrate now will echo into your long-term future. Decisions made in boldness shape identity. Identity shapes destiny. Before this phase unfolds completely, seal it with faith. Type "I step forward" in courage in the comments if you receive this activation. Lesson code 888 is now flowing over those who refuse to shrink back. As you embrace boldness, understand that this message itself is part of a larger mission. When you stand with this channel through super thanks, membership, or a seed through PayPal in the description, you are not supporting a personality. You are fueling a prophetic current. Scripture declares that when you sow into good soil, your harvest speaks for generations. This is that soil. As you release your seed, heaven releases strategy. As you give, light travels further than you can see. God says, "Test me in this, and watch the windows open." Let your giving mirror your boldness. Move without hesitation. Activate your support now. Become part of the fire that carries these messages to souls who are waiting for confirmation. Do not delay your obedience in generosity. Step forward and seal your alignment. The next movement will reveal how boldness transforms into lasting authority. And what comes after authority will define the legacy attached to your name. Steady flame, boldness has opened the door, but now authority must take its place. Boldness steps forward. Authority stands firm. And what is unfolding in your life is no longer temporary momentum. It is structure. Archangel Michael does not activate courage without establishing order afterward. You have moved from compassion to consistency, from consistency to expansion, from expansion to boldness. Now comes spiritual authority. Authority is not loud. It is not aggressive. It is calm, grounded, and unshaken. It is the quiet confidence that knows its position. After stepping forward courageously, you may notice something subtle but powerful. People begin to listen differently when you speak. Your words carry weight. Your silence carries presence. Your decisions carry influence. This is not ego. This is earned trust. Authority grows when actions align with integrity over time. The person you helped on March 19th may now look at you with deeper respect. Not because you demanded it, but because you demonstrated reliability. Others may begin seeking your perspective. They may ask for your advice in situations beyond what you originally expected. This is expansion turning into leadership. But leadership must be handled carefully. Archangel Michael embodies disciplined authority. He is depicted as a defender who does not misuse power. And that is your lesson now. As influence increases, humility must increase alongside it. There will be moments where you could easily control outcomes, push opinions, or assert dominance. Resist that temptation. True authority does not force, it guides. It does not manipulate, it steadies. It does not seek applause, It seeks alignment. You are being entrusted with spiritual credibility. That credibility is more valuable than quick success. As authority stabilizes in your life, clarity about your own path will sharpen further. Decisions that once felt confusing will become straightforward. Boundaries that once felt difficult to enforce will become natural. You will no longer over-explain yourself. You will no longer shrink your perspective to keep others comfortable. This is maturity. At the same time, authority will test your emotional discipline. There may be criticism. There may be misunderstanding. There may be subtle resistance from those who preferred the older, quieter version of you. Do not let nostalgia pull you backward. Your oath always disrupts comfort zones, yours and others. Your assignment was never to remain small. March 19th was proof that you are trusted with responsibility. And responsibility naturally evolves into authority. You may also notice that opportunities now require your decision rather than your participation. Instead of being invited merely to assist, you may be invited to lead. Instead of being asked to support quietly, you may be asked to represent openly. This is transition, and transitions require courage anchored in wisdom. Archangel Michael is associated with protection because authority without protection becomes vulnerable. Guard your time. Guard your energy. Guard your focus. As your influence increases, so will demands. Not every request deserves your yes. Discernment must remain active. The blessings tied to your future are not random promotions. They are structured elevations. Structured elevation means you rise with stability. You rise with preparation. You rise with balance. Look back at where this journey began, with a simple instruction to help someone urgently. That one act revealed your compassion. Your consistency proved your endurance. Your boldness revealed your courage. Now your authority reveals your readiness. And readiness is what unlocks legacy. Because the next phase is not about momentary success. It is about long-term impact. Authority establishes foundations that outlast seasons. The way you handle this stage will determine how sustainable your blessings become. Remain calm. Remain teachable. Remain steady. The acceleration you are experiencing is not temporary, but it must be stewarded wisely. Soon, you will see how authority begins shaping not only your opportunities but your identity. And when identity aligns with calling, fulfillment becomes inevitable. Prepare your spirit, because the next step will challenge you to guard what you have built while preparing for even greater expansion. Anchored soul, authority has now settled upon you, but what you do next will determine whether it multiplies or diminishes. Authority must be guarded. It must be refined. It must be directed with precision. Archangel Michael does not only hand you strength, he teaches you how to protect it. You have already seen how a single act of obedience on March 19th set off a chain reaction. Compassion opened the door. Consistency built momentum. Boldness moved you into visibility. Authority established your position. Now you must learn the art of guarding your elevation. When blessings begin to manifest, distractions multiply. New invitations will appear. New voices will attempt to influence you. Some opportunities will look attractive but carry hidden cost. This is the stage where discernment becomes your shield. Authority without boundaries becomes exhaustion. You may feel pressure to say yes to everything. You may feel responsible for solving every problem presented to you. But remember how this journey began. You were assigned to help one person at a critical moment, not to carry the entire world. That clarity must remain intact. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian because protection is part of promotion. As you step into larger spaces, protect your time fiercely. Protect your mental peace. Protect your spiritual focus. There will be subtle tests. Someone may challenge your decisions publicly. Someone may question your growth privately. Someone may attempt to reopen doors that were closed for your good. Do not interpret these moments as threats. They are confirmations that your position is visible, and visibility always attracts examination. The key now is emotional discipline. Respond, do not react. Observe, do not assume. Speak, but only when clarity is solid. Authority is sustained through composure. At the same time, do not become distant. Guarding your elevation does not mean isolating yourself. It means choosing alignment carefully. Surround yourself with those who respect your growth rather than resent it. Align with individuals who understand responsibility. This is also the moment where your voice expands further. You may feel an urge to share your journey, to speak about the lessons you learned, to encourage others who are standing where you once stood. Do not silence that urge. Your testimony carries power. If this message has been walking with you step by step, do not keep it private. Like this video so more people can encounter clarity in their own decisive moments. Share it with someone who needs confirmation about acting boldly. Comment below if you can see how your obedience shifted your path. Subscribe and remain connected to these prophetic insights as they continue unfolding. And if you feel called to stand deeper with this mission, join the membership and partner consistently. Your engagement strengthens the reach of these revelations beyond what you can see. There is a reason you have remained until this point. You are not casually listening. You are aligning. Now understand this carefully. Guarding your elevation also means guarding your mindset. Pride can slip in quietly when authority feels comfortable. Comparison can creep in when success becomes visible. Resist both. Pride isolates. Comparison distracts. Stay grounded in gratitude. Archangel Michael exemplifies disciplined strength. Strength without arrogance. Power without chaos. That is the model being formed within you. You may soon face a defining decision. A crossroads where you must choose between short-term recognition and long-term legacy. Short-term recognition is loud but fleeting. Long-term legacy is quiet but lasting. Choose legacy, because the blessings tied to your future are generational in impact. They are not just about your comfort. They are about influence that extends beyond your immediate circle. The same way your single act on March 19th influenced more than one life, your guarded authority will influence environments beyond what you currently see. Remain steady. Remain discerning. Remain humble. The next phase will reveal how guarded authority transforms into generational impact. And what you build in that stage will outlast seasons, trends, and temporary applause. Prepare yourself, because the final layers of this journey will show you why this entire sequence was divinely orchestrated from the very beginning. Enduring one. You have guarded your authority, and now something deeper begins to unfold. Impact that stretches beyond your immediate sight. This is the stage where your obedience stops being a chapter and becomes a foundation. Archangel Michael does not build temporary victories. He establishes lasting structures. What started on March 19th as a simple, urgent instruction has now matured into something generational. You helped one person, but the ripple effect has moved through conversations, decisions, and environments you may never fully see. This is how divine orchestration works. It begins with one act and expands into unseen territory. You may begin to notice that your influence is no longer confined to reactive situations. Instead of responding to crises, you are shaping direction. Instead of stabilizing chaos, you are preventing it. Your foresight has sharpened. Your patience has strengthened. Your words carry measured clarity. This is impact. Impact is not noise. It is permanence. There will be moments when you reflect quietly and realize how far you have come since that initial nudge. The hesitation you once felt has transformed into conviction. The uncertainty that once slowed you has become discernment. The fear that once whispered doubt now bows to confidence rooted in experience. Archangel Michael has been shaping you deliberately, not rushing you, not overwhelming you. Layer by layer, he has guided you through compassion, consistency, boldness, authority, and protection. Now those layers merge into stability. Stability is what sustains generational blessing. Because the blessings tied to your future were never meant to be fragile. They were meant to be built on tested character. Character formed under pressure does not collapse easily. You may soon encounter opportunities that connect to legacy. This could look like mentoring someone who reminds you of your earlier self. It could look like establishing something long-term, an initiative, a partnership, a project that continues beyond your immediate involvement. It could look like being entrusted with responsibility that influences multiple lives. Do not shrink from it. Legacy is not reserved for the famous. It is built by the faithful. And faithfulness was proven when you chose to help without full understanding of the outcome. There is also a spiritual shift occurring internally. You no longer seek validation in the same way. You no longer chase urgency for excitement. You move with intention. You choose carefully. You speak thoughtfully. This maturity is evidence of alignment. Alignment creates endurance. As endurance strengthens, your peace deepens. Situations that once would have unsettled you now feel manageable. Conflict does not intimidate you. Pressure does not destabilize you. You have become anchored. Archangel Michael represents unwavering defense. That unwavering quality is being reflected in your spirit. You are no longer easily shaken. But there is one final refinement before this journey reaches completion. You must learn to release ownership of outcomes. Impact grows best when it is surrendered to God's direction. You planted seeds. You nurture growth. But you do not control the harvest. Release the need to monitor everything. Trust the process that brought you this far. The person you helped will continue their journey. Some paths may remain connected to yours. Others may diverge naturally. That is not loss. That is progression. Your role was pivotal, not permanent. The same applies to new opportunities emerging around you. You are positioned to build but not to cling. Build with excellence. Release with peace. As you step fully into this phase, you may sense a quiet satisfaction. Not pride but fulfillment. The fulfillment of knowing you responded when heaven called. The fulfillment of seeing growth where there was once instability. The fulfillment of recognizing your own transformation. This fulfillment is the doorway to the final revelation. Because what remains to be understood is why March 19th carried such urgency from the beginning. Why Archangel Michael emphasized immediate action. Why your obedience unlocked layers far beyond one situation. The answer will seal everything together. Prepare your spirit for the completion of this message, because the final understanding will show you that nothing about this journey was accidental. It was divinely synchronized from the start. Beloved warrior of light, now the circle closes. Everything that began with urgency on March 19th was never about a single act. It was about alignment with your future. When Archangel Michael said, "This person needs your help ASAP," It was not merely a warning. It was a divine doorway. You thought you were stepping into someone else's crisis. But in truth, you were stepping into your own elevation. March 19th was marked in the unseen realm because it revealed who you are under pressure. When called, you did not ignore the nudge. When uncertain, you still moved. When tested, you stayed consistent. And through that obedience, heaven recalibrated your path. This is the mystery that few understand. God often hides your breakthrough inside someone else's need. If you had waited, the door would have remained closed. If you had hesitated, the alignment would have been delayed. But because you responded, spiritual acceleration was released. Archangel Michael stands as a protector of destiny. And when he moved you urgently, it was to protect not only that person, but your future influence, your future authority, your future impact. Look at what unfolded. Compassion refined your heart. Consistency strengthened your discipline. Boldness activated your visibility. Authority established your position. Discernment guarded your growth. Impact expanded your legacy. All from one act of obedience. Now you understand why the message carries urgency. There are blessings that cannot land on hesitation. There are doors that only open to movement. There are elevations that respond only to faith in action. March 19th was your proof that heaven trusts you with weight. And here is the final revelation. This will not be the last time you are called urgently. Now that you have passed this test, your sensitivity to divine timing will increase. You will recognize nudges faster. You will respond with greater confidence. You will move without overanalyzing. Because you have seen the evidence. When heaven speaks, obedience multiplies. Do not forget this season. When future opportunities arise, remember how one decision shifted everything. When doubt whispers again, remember the ripple effect you witnessed. When fear tries to slow you down, remember that acceleration followed your courage. You are no longer the same person who first heard that warning. You are aligned. And as you step forward from this message, carry this posture with you, quick to obey, steady in character, bold in action, humble in authority. If this entire journey has spoken directly to your spirit, seal it right now. Type "I am aligned with my future" in the comments as a declaration of faith. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over those who choose divine alignment without delay. Now hear this clearly. The same way your obedience unlocked someone else's breakthrough, your support unlocks breakthroughs for countless unseen souls. God says, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest will not cease. When you release the seed through super thanks, step into membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding content. You are fueling a river of living water that reaches hearts at critical moments. This message reached you at the right time because someone else once gave. Now it is your turn to keep the oil flowing. As you give, heaven responds. As you sow into light, darkness loses ground. This is not a casual donation. It is prophetic participation. The word declares that those who build his house will flourish in their own. So move with bold obedience. Activate your support now. Partner with this mission and watch how God multiplies back into your life with precision and favor.